StrengthsFinder has identified analytical as one of your strengths. Your analytical theme challenges people to say, prove it. You want to say, show me why you're claiming this to be true. What is it that makes you think you're right about this? You don't necessarily want to destroy other people's ideas or come off as being untrusting. You just want to know what's really happening. You want to understand the data behind it. You're a very objective type person. This strength allows you to be that way. You see yourself as objective and dispassionate. You don't want to come across as somebody who says, look, I've got to have it this way. You want to come across as somebody who says, well, just let's just look at the data. Let's find out what actually is happening. Well, you want to understand what reality is relative to any data that you're looking at. Armed with the data that you receive from anywhere, you can start looking for patterns, for connections, for how things connect together, and understand how the patterns might relate to one another. You want to understand how the patterns affect one another, but also how do they combine? What is the outcome of this pattern and this that you see in this system or in a process? Does this outcome fit with the theory being offered or the situation being confronted? So somebody might come to you and say, well, if we do this, that'll happen. And you might look at it and say, well, I'm not so sure. Have we looked and understood that the marketplace really can support your idea? And they might say, of course the marketplace. Well, you'll say, well, wait a minute. Where's the test data? Where's the data that shows that when we do this marketing campaign, it's actually going to work? And so you can be extremely valuable to somebody in the marketing world to help them analyze data and to find patterns and to look at demographics and that type of thing. So analyzing that data is very important to you. You can be extremely influential in a team that's doing systems analysis, or as an analyst yourself, analyzing anything, whether it's financial, in the computer world, helping to understand how to take apart a process and be able to reassemble that process in an automated format. You have the skill set to do that and to be very good at it. So you peel back the layers until gradually the root cause or the causes are revealed. So what you're going to do is you're going to peel back this onion. It doesn't matter to you how much it makes you cry. You want to get to the core. You want to see what the core looks like, so you'll know how many layers there are. You want to know how thick the layers are. You want to know why the layers are there in the first place. And when you get to the core of things, you'll register that data, and that will be reality. And people that are looking for reality to keep from making mistakes are going to lean heavily on who you are and what you can accomplish. This is an extremely valuable strength that you have, and others might see you as a little rigid, but you need to explain to them, I'm not rigid. This is not a thing about being rigid. I just have the ability and the strength to be able to look for the facts to keep us from heading in the wrong direction. If you'll look for the facts, if you look at the data and establish a path based on that, you'll come closer to hitting reality. And after all, isn't that what any project wants? And that runs through your mind all the time. Isn't what we want is reality? We want to make sure this is really what's going on and what's behind it. So you don't want to come off too harshly, but you do want to make sure that people understand that, hey, you want the facts. The subjective reasoning is okay when it comes to relationships and emotions and that kind of thing. But when it comes to having to accomplish something, you want to make sure you have the facts before you start out and during the process. And this can be extremely valuable to both you and to the people that you work with and your team. Just make sure they understand where it's coming from. So you want to choose work in which you're paid to analyze data, where you're paid to find patterns in things or organize ideas. You might excel at research in marketing, financial, and medical world. Each one of those areas require an analytical mind, somebody who can look at all the issues. In database management, in database management, you have to understand how things are linked together, and unless you know how they're linked together, you'll make mistakes at every turn. So database management is a very fertile field for somebody with the strength of analytical. The area of editing or risk management. In risk management, we want to know exactly what the risks are going in. Working in the area of actuarials, where you're looking and trying in the insurance world, trying to understand what the numbers are and how they relate to one another, and make sure that you have the facts ahead of time. So identify credible sources upon which you can rely. In any area that you work in, make sure that you have good, credible sources. And your analytical team should be very good at helping you sort through and vet out your sources that you're using. So make sure that they're correct, because if your sources aren't right, then your data is going to be incorrect. And you can see this in most areas of life where we rely on data that's not accurate. People are consistently sending out videos out on email to everyone, and they're looking at them. They're going, "Oh, isn't this amazing?" And you're the person that goes over to Truth or Fiction, or you go over to Snoops, and you say, "Is this really true?" And often you find out it's not true, because people are willing to believe things that where the data really isn't correct. So develop your analytical skills by getting to know and sharing ideas with outstanding analysts who specialize in your area. So make sure that you powwow, and make sure that you look to opportunities to share with other analysts. Find people who you respect and sit down and brainstorm with them, and make sure that you understand what their resources are, what their sources of information are. How do they make sure that things are going correct? Take an academic course that will expand your analytical strength. There are courses that help, critical thinking courses and that type of thing, that will be good for you. Volunteer with your analytical talent. If you're inclined to be in some kind of an organization, or even at work where there's teams you can volunteer on, volunteer. Your analytical theme can help those teams very much. Make sure, though, when you do join them, that you listen to people, and that you explain to them that you have this strength, this analytical theme that might make you seem like that you're not on board with helping. Let them know that what you really want to do is you have the ability to help bring reality to it, to help bring the facts on the table, and you do not want to appear to be uncaring, or to have to be able to put relational roadblocks. That as long as they understand that, and you give them permission to say, "Hey, are you just being analytical? Are you just being this realist again? Or are you being ornery?" And as long as you give them that permission, they can stop you and say, "Time out. You're being a little bit ornery here," and you can explain to them, "No, I just need to know the facts. So let's go back and find the facts. I don't mean to be ornery," and that kind of thing. And people will appreciate that. So be ready to partner with somebody with a strong activator theme, because you have this analytical theme. You're going to want somebody who will help drive you to action, because you'll analyze things to death. You need somebody that will help push you a little bit. So somebody with this activator strength, it's another StrengthsFinder theme or strength, is activator is, and it'll help when they come in and work with you. It'll help you move you into action, to propel you into the future. So listen to people with a strategic theme also, another strength that'll help say, "Look, if we do this, this will happen. If we do that, that'll happen." If you know that ahead of time, you can dig out all the facts to see why those might be your good or bad directions to head off into. Also, somebody with belief, establish a good solid foundation of the principles, of the ethics involved in any project you're involved in. And somebody with empathy theme could really help. Empathy is the ability to be able to resonate at an emotional level with other people, and to be able to see what it is that somebody else is feeling. If you team with somebody, you know somebody on your team has empathy, tell them they have permission to look at you and say, and to let you know that, "Oh, you're being a little mean, or you're coming off a little strong," because it'll often happen that you will come off strong, because you'll just say, "No, that's not true. This is true." And it'll really annoy people who thought that was really the answer, and you telling them, "No, that's not true." Make sure that you come at it with a different area. "Well, I found this information from this," instead of saying, "No, that's not right." Let's see, there's two different ways to do that. One is tactful, one is not. And so you're going to want to learn to work with people with empathy, because they'll help you to discover that. And you'll also find that the insights and the intuitions that these different strengths have are relevant to you, and they're difficult to measure, but they're often accurate, and they're valuable, very valuable to you. So analytical, it's one that we all need to pay a lot of attention to, but just because of the nature of this strength, sometimes you guys are a little bit difficult to handle. So learn to speak in a way to other people, and give them permission to let you know when you're being a little ornery, or when you're coming across as unpleasant. And it'll make it a lot easier to work around people, and you'll find that people will warm up to you.